Welcome to the American Dream, where we bring to you the best from across the nation in your American dream and homeownership and what's going on in your community. This segment is in Boston, and we have brought three dynamic women to talk about what's taking place with all of these changes in our education right now. Joanna Schlansky, she is a real estate professional that specializes in her community and the relationships in her community and bringing homeownership. And she's brought today with us Jen Sheffer, who is technology expert, and you can share more about that. And I have Barbara Sturdivant, who's also here as an educator. So we're excited to get started. First of all, ladies, welcome.
Thank you.
Hello.
Now, I'd love each one of you to just share for real briefly on just who you are and exactly what your expertise is. Joanna, I'm going to start with you and just your expertise in real estate and how long you've been doing it.
Okay, so I have been working in real estate for over 20 years. I live in Burlington. I sell a lot in Burlington and just around the towns north of Boston. And for me, it was important to highlight what some of the Burlington school system teachers are doing during COVID and how they're navigating around the challenges it faces. So for me, real estate and school systems are correlated. So this was very, very important fact for me to highlight.
Well, we're thankful to have you. And I know you brought these two amazing guests. Jen, why don't you share with us exactly, where you're at and what you specialize in?
Sure. Thanks for having me. My name is Jen Sheffer, and I'm a technology integration specialist at Fox Hill Elementary School. This is my 20th year in education. I actually reside in New Hampshire, but work in Massachusetts. And this has been a very interesting transition for me in my position, specifically in terms of supporting teachers. Myself and colleagues on my team, we've been working around the clock to continue to deliver education to the children as best we can. So.
Well, it's so valuable, and I know how much everybody must appreciate that and probably doesn't even realize what it is you're really doing behind the scenes. So thank you so much. Barbara, why don't you share with us your background and what you do?
Sure, I'm Barbara Sturdivant, and for the past 15 years, I have taught 6th grade world geography at the Marshall Simons Middle School, which is the only middle school in Burlington. It is a 6th grade school.
Wow. Well, we really appreciate all the work that you've done. And I'm sure that all the students and families you've worked with are very thankful for the impact you've had in their life. And we're excited to have you. Joanna, I want to kick it back over to you. I know how passionate you are about your community. Being in real estate, it's not just selling the home and the American dream, but the entire community.
Yes. Yeah.
And what that means for a family. They move into a community and they move into those schools. So I'm going to lead it over to you and have you kind of kick us off on our discussion
today.
I
mean, I wanted to have Jen and Barbara involved in some of this discussion about what's going on in the Burlington school system. And Jen, I want to kick a question over to you. So you are the technology specialist. So what digital tools has Burlington used to facilitate remote learning during the last few months?
So as we all know, nobody expected this to happen. We left school very abruptly, and we, as a district, we were fortunate to have the tools in place with a tool called Seesaw. It's a digital portfolio tool, and it allows students and teachers to communicate. It allows teachers to share activities in a variety of formats. It's not just digital worksheets. Students can receive videos, there can be audio comments, there can be drawings. So it really is accessible, and it allows students to demonstrate their learning in a variety of ways.
That is absolutely remarkable. I think we're all sitting here thinking, wow, because you're right. It was so abrupt. It's not like you had a year to plan for this, and you use the word overwhelmed. And I think that that's a word that's been described across the nation by so many parents and teachers. And so you just really hit that head on. And what you guys have done is absolutely incredible. And I'm glad that you've brought a light to the details and what that really needed to look like so quickly. And I'm sure that your students have benefited. Barbara, I'd love to hear from you. How have the teachers helped keep the students engaged? And with this technology, how you've kept them engaged?
That's such an excellent question, Amy. Thank you for asking. To once a week meet together as a full team. So right now that's around 80 students and the 5 or 6 teachers, and we meet every Friday It's not necessarily for academic work. It's just to keep in touch, just so that we all remember that even though the closure was abrupt and seems like months and months and months ago, we were together more than we have been apart.
Jen, it's pretty amazing with all these changes, how you and the teachers are supporting the children and the parents. So from the technology standpoint, what are the most challenges you're having there with the technology piece of it?
Well, I think fortunately a lot of the glitches have been ironed out at this point, because we're near the end here of this extended closure, and I think everybody's ready for some well-deserved R&R with a bit of a summer vacation. But initially, the learning curve was pretty steep for parents, I think more so than for the children, because they were familiar with the Seesaw tool that I mentioned, as well as Google Classroom. So fortunately, our teachers, many of them were already using these tools to communicate, to distribute their work. So the kiddos were okay. It was, okay, how do we get the parents to get onto these particular sites? And there was a bit of, as I mentioned, a learning curve there.
What are we seeing the school system looking like in September? Are our kids going back to school? Are they going to continue online learning? And how are you going to deal with the parents? That's a loaded question.
Well, I think there's a lot of unanswered questions right now, and I know that the district is just, patiently waiting for guidance from the state at the state level. The state is waiting for guidance from the national level, and there's so many questions, and at this point in time, there aren't a lot of answers. But I know that Barbara has mentioned that she's doing extensive planning and collaborating with her grade level team. I think district wide, that's been one of the silver linings of this whole situation, is that there has been an extensive amount of collaboration, and Barbara can chime in on that, but I think teachers are collaborating more now than they ever were able to, and that is in preparation for what does the fall look like. Will it be a combination of blended learning, remote learning at home? We don't really know.
Right.
So.
Right. Barbara, some quick last thoughts from you just on, are you prepared for the fall, briefly?
That's such a good question. I don't know if I'm prepared for the fall, because I don't know what the fall is going to bring. Being a sixth grade teacher in Burlington, it is a transition year. Students are coming from 4 different elementary schools. Jen works at one. There are 3 others. And they are all being mixed in, plus students who might be coming from private or parochial or even homeschooling. So it's going to be a very unusual situation where we're trying to come together as a 6th grade team, and that might be remotely. In a way, this happening in March, we knew our students. I can't imagine what this would have been like if we had to start the year. So I don't know what the fall is going to look like. I hope that we can be back in school. As Jen said, I miss my students. I want to be with them. We've made it work. We have used things like Google Meet, and one thing that we've been able to do with Google Meet with some students who might have been struggling was we would have private Google Meets with them and ask them to present their screen to us so we can see what's going on and help them through it. So that has certainly been effective. Again, with students who we don't know yet, I hope we can see them in person. That's my biggest wish.
I think everybody wants that. Absolutely. And, this has been a shift for everybody nationwide. You guys have clearly done an outstanding job. And I think all of our educators need to be just praised right now for making these adjustments and helping families and students through this transition while you're trying to figure it out yourself. Thank you for being experts with us today. Joanna, thank you for bringing these amazing women on to talk about the impact this is making in your community. Any last thoughts that you have for your love for your community there?
So I just want to thank the teachers and the entire school system, the superintendent and the school committee. They have worked tirelessly to make this work between March and the end of school. It's amazing what they've done. So I just want to thank everybody in the school system. You guys are doing a great job. I'm hoping that I'm one parent that has a child in the school system, as well as a realtor, very actively involved. And I think you guys are doing a phenomenal job, and keep up the good work. Thank you.
Fantastic. Well, thank you for all that you're all doing for the community and for the families and for being experts on the show today. We really appreciate it. Look forward to seeing you again and hearing updates soon. Congrats on the upcoming fall. I know you're going to make it amazing, whatever that looks like. Thanks for being a part of the American Dream.
Thank you, Amy. Thanks for having us.